Hi, as requested by a subscriber, I'm gonna be reviewing a video by Larry Wheels, bodybuilding on only 7-Eleven food for 24 hours.
What's up, guys? I am a bodybuilder, and today...
Really? Okay. What exactly are you building? More wrinkles? More muscles that look like tumors? You're 30 years old. You look like you're in your 40s at least. You're 5 years younger than me, yet you look like you could be 20 years older than me, biologically.
I'm going to be completing my training with only 7-Eleven food. We're going to be finding options that are convenient, affordable, and perfect when you're on the go.
Right, some sausages. Maybe that's the best that they have there. Usually sausages today have wheat flour inside of them, soy, salt, obviously also toxic, all kinds of toxic additives. Because really, it's the worst kind of slave food as far as animal products go, because they can just put anything inside of there. It's still probably better than any plant foods on earth, because you are eating some kind of meat, but they just stuff any kind of garbage in there. Yeah, you're kind of playing the lottery when buying a sausage nowadays, and typically you're gonna lose. Yeah, just bread, grain sludge with sugar on top. If you eat at 7-Eleven, you have lost your mind.
The rules are simple. Everything must be from here at 7-Eleven. I must rank everything from 1 to 10, and it must fit my macros. At the end, we're gonna see how good my workout is being fueled by...
But your macros don't matter because you're a junkie, you're drugged up. That's why you look so old. You have drug-induced muscles, which are fake.
Only 7-Eleven food, and I'm gonna select my favorite item from here. Okay, so for breakfast, a much healthier alternative.
Yeah, but again, if you have a favorite item at 7-Eleven, then you're done. Who buys food there, man?
And the chocolate chip cookies for fast carbs pre-workout that lead to a fast crash. We'll be going here to the grab and go section at 7-Eleven and grabbing a simply egg sandwich. Now, the macros on this are not perfect, but they're good enough when you're on the go. Here we got 50 grams of carbs, 20.
In case you're delusional and you don't understand what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what he eats because his whole body is based on the drugs. He could be a vegan, he could eat 7-Eleven his whole life. Really, pretty much nothing would change. If there would be a change, it would be minuscule.
Fat, 20 protein, 12 sugar, and my macros for the whole day, 300 protein, 75 fat, 200 carbs. So to wash this down and try and get to my minimum per meal, which is about 50 grams of protein, is gonna be a lean body protein shake, RTD, which have 40 grams of protein per serving, and they're actually delicious, which is something that is quite rare when it comes to protein shake RTDs. Most of them are too sweet or grainy. This one, I think, is as close to perfect as it gets for a protein RTD. And the macros on this are as good as it gets, only 8 grams of fat, 9.
Protein shakes, powders, these drinks, it's all waste products inside of them completely. And then a bunch of sugar, sweeteners and whatever, just to make it palatable. Because it's all about tricking your natural senses into drinking or eating something, which you would never, of course, do naturally. That's it. Yeah. He's consuming waste products. That's what bodybuilders especially do. Most people today do that, but bodybuilders just swallow all of the garbage. As I have said before, they are really biological disposal machines, waste disposal machines. They take in all of the waste and then they use drugs to build muscles, to have tons of water in the muscles, because your whole body is poisoned. And then you die in your 40s, 50s. Wow.
Grams of carbs, so very low in carb, no added sugar, and 40 grams of protein. If we mix the two, we're already at.
No added sugar is kind of even worse, because if there's sugar, at least you're getting the sugar. That's bad, because it's been bleached and put through toxic chemicals you should never actually consume. Table sugar, but those sweeteners from those toxic plants are even worse. And they provoke a release of insulin also, as it has been measured. At the same time, of course, you're not actually consuming any sugar, so the insulin is released for no reason. That's the case with stevia, for example. There's a lot of those artificial sweeteners that they use today.
70 grams of protein with just an egg sandwich and a lean body protein shake. So here we have a Sprinklicious donut.
Yeah, but this is all bullshit. You cannot measure any of this in the first place. You're relying on completely man-made constructs which are not measurable. But then again, your whole life is completely fucked up.
With strawberry frosting, my absolute favorite, that we're not going to get for breakfast. Very common people get a black coffee and pair it with a delicious sprinkled donut, but
Yeah, donuts are just grain sludge made in seed oils. That's what they are fried in, with sugar and toxins on top. You can't even eat anything much more unhealthy. It's just about the unhealthiest thing you can eat. Again, irrelevant in his case, because he's all about bodybuilding, destroying his body. So that's what his life revolves around anyway.
this has no fiber and it's going to lead to a very fast crash, right? And again, you want sustained energy, not just for your workout, but throughout the day.
Your whole life is a crash. This is a crash. You're a junkie buying food at 7-Eleven. It's a crash. You have crashed. Look at your life. You're 30 and you look like you're almost 50, man.
If you're crashing before your workout, you're going to want to compensate with more caffeine to pick yourself up again. Then you create a whole nother problem. So we're not going to have pastries like this or pound cake or whatever else for breakfast. We're going to try and keep it healthy and stay on track with our macros here at 7-Eleven.
Healthy.
So for lunch, back over to the grab and grow, and we are going to grab a beef and bean burrito. What I'm not going to grab is a bean and cheese burrito because your boy is lactose intolerant, gets me bloated, gassy, and my wife absolutely hates when I Dutch oven her. So no bean and cheese burrito.
What do you mean you eat grain sludge all the time? You're gassy all day anyway. What? You're not making any sense.
And we're going to stick with the beef and bean burrito.
So the beans are better for your digestion than dairy. Okay, maybe if he's super intolerant, but I doubt it. It's probably just as bad, at the very least. Beans are seeds. You can't digest seeds at all. That's why they cause bloating. It's painful to eat that garbage.
Okay, and the macros on this one are
irrelevant.
actually not bad. You got 11 grams of fat, 14 grams of protein, 42.
Doesn't matter. Any of that cannot even really be measured. Macronutrients. Calories are also bullshit. It's all irrelevant. You're eating processed garbage waste products. There's no fat in there. There's only seed oils, I bet you.
Carb, all right? And you got plenty of fiber in here to help with digestion. Plus, it tastes half bad.
How is fiber gonna help with your digestion if it's indigestible, man? You're saying the opposite of the truth. You make no sense again.
Okay, and then to wash it down, we are gonna grab another lean body protein shake. This time, we're gonna do chocolate, as I don't like eating the same thing every single meal. So just switching up a little bit.
It sounds like he's kind of against using caffeine, or at least over consuming it, but then drinks something which has chocolate inside, which has caffeine. Whatever.
Can help with you staying on track with your diet. Eating the same thing every single meal, every single day, gets old very fast. So don't be afraid to mix it up and hit your macros. All right, I just grabbed 2 of these skewers, please. Okay, and to top off lunch, we're gonna get some honey drizzled chicken skewers. There is 20 grams of protein per skewer, we're gonna get 2 of those. So for dinner, we're gonna add to the tuna salad some beef jerky. Now, when you guys are looking for beef jerky, be sure you avoid the ones that are packed full of sugar. Most of them are. I'll just pick a random one off the rack here. This is beef jerky from Jack Link's Original.
Yeah, okay, for a bodybuilder on drugs, yeah, it's okay. Because it kind of doesn't matter anyway. If you can get some kind of meat inside of you, yeah, jerky or whatever, the chicken, yeah. Maybe this 7-Eleven is better than others. I don't know how the others look like. It seems like they have some options.
And per serving, it has 6 grams of sugar. And there's 3.5 servings per bag. So you're talking over 20 grams of sugar for this little bag of jerky. That'll go very quick because it is delicious because of the sugar. And because it's got so much added sugar, again, fast crash. So a much better option than that would be this beef jerky stick, which for the whole package only has 4 grams of sugar. And you get 23 grams.
I don't think that it's normal to crash because you eat some sugar. I don't know, I don't do that myself. I just can't imagine if I would do that I would have some kind of a crash. You have a crash because you're a junkie. Your whole life just goes up and down all the time. Depressed, miserable, no energy, weak, sleeping all day, napping. And then you have your drug-induced boosts. And maybe from caffeine also and all the sugar and whatever. What kind of a life is this anyway?
Grams of protein per stick. And the taste is good enough. But that's not enough. Between this, which has 20 grams, 20 for the stick for dinner, we're gonna add some nuts. So if you guys are really craving a snack, I strongly recommend just getting some salted nuts without any coating on top of it. Like, don't get chocolate covered nuts, just get salted nuts. Like these almonds, for example, are delicious.
Salt is extremely toxic, really poisonous. It's just dumb to do that. The sodium in the salt basically tricks your senses into believing that you're eating real food. Of course, you're being overstimulated. It's horrible, but there's very small amounts in there because of how horrible salt tastes. And it gives you the illusion that you're eating real, savory, natural food, which would be animals, just in a really artificial way, of course. Oftentimes also they mix salt with sugar so that you don't really taste the horrible salt.
And just about any 7-Eleven, the macros, this one in particular, has 24 fat, 7 carb, and only 2 grams of added sugar with 9 grams of protein. It's packed full of calories, but I'm not gonna add this to my list for the day because I've already exceeded my fat intake with everything I've gotten so far. Just a much better alternative than chips.
Chips. just total garbage. Yeah, whatever. And the chips also have salt added to them. Pretty sure, probably all of them do. What you can do yourself is take a teaspoon or even less of salt and put it in your mouth and then see what happens. If you like the taste or if your body right away reacts by alarming you to spit it out. Of course, please don't swallow it. It really is very bad for you.
Guys, we want crunchy, you want savory, this is that. All right, this is all my food for the entire day. Sorry. Who said you can't bodybuild on the 7-Eleven diet? All right, guys, so for my pre-workout meal / breakfast,
Well, yeah, you couldn't if you weren't on drugs. What you eat, as I said, doesn't really matter because you have a drug-induced body, basically, if you could call it that. Nobody who's not on drugs would ever be able to gain any muscle eating like this. I hope that's clear. He's only appealing to other drug users. That's what these people do. I don't know if they are really conscious of it. Do they understand that somebody who's not on drugs would not be able to gain muscle when eating 7-Eleven food? I don't know. Maybe he just really doesn't get it. Maybe he's so delusional that he doesn't even understand that it's all the drugs that are causing these tumor-like muscles.
We're gonna start with the Simply Egg Salad Sandwich. And make sure, stay hydrated. It is buy one, get one free at 7-Eleven. Want to also note that I spent only $46 and got nearly 300 grams of protein at 7-Eleven. So this is just...
Was that plain water? Water doesn't really hydrate you. You can absorb a little bit of it, but if you would be drinking blood, milk, even fruit juices, eating fruits, consuming real liquids, then you would actually be absorbing most of it. Whatever.
One of the two sandwiches. Let's go in for that first bite. That was a really good egg sandwich. Wow. I'll say one thing. At 7-Eleven, you're not compromising on taste whatsoever. The food at 7-Eleven tastes fire.
How does it matter if the food is fake? The taste is irrelevant in that sense because they are tricking you into eating that. You should be eating what you can naturally eat in its raw form.
With 2 egg sandwiches, a 40-gram chocolate lean body protein shake, RTD, we're at just about 100 grams of protein pre-workout. And I want to add that I'm getting all of my macros with just 3 meals. So my usual breakfast at home is one of these lean body protein shakes or David bar, 6 eggs, and a slice of toast with some, can't believe it's not butter on top. That I would get.
Can't believe it's not butter. That's margarine, right? Oh my god. Oh my god. Totally gonna get a stroke or a heart attack, man. He would anyway because of all the stress from working out and the drugs, but this just guarantees it. Oh, you're doing it to yourself, man. Have fun.
Give a 10 out of 10. It's my favorite breakfast.
10 out of 10. Grain sludge with seed oils, margarine. 10 out of 10.
Leave me bloated or gassy. Tastes great. Never gets old. Now, this...
Yeah, except that you're getting old.
7-Eleven breakfast, a simply egg sandwich protein shake combo, I would give a 9 out of 10. This is a really good egg sandwich, and this protein RTD is as good as it gets. I don't see how I can make any of these 2 items any better, aside from maybe the egg sandwich being crispy and warm instead of cold. I don't like cold sandwiches. I like hot. But with that said, the best cold egg sandwich I've ever had. Just incredible. Yeah, you are not compromising on taste whatsoever at 7-Eleven. You will find that most of the items today are higher in fat than most items would allow. But we're doing this as a fun experiment to see if I can hit close to my macros at 7-Eleven. We have definitely exceeded my...
It's just all about macros, calories, which have never actually been proven in the first place. Calories essentially come from a guy simply burning something in an oven. That's it. That's the origin of calories. It's total BS. You totally fell for a lie.
75 gram of fat goal for the whole day. If your stomach's rumbling and you're feeling hungry pre-workout, but you don't want to get bloated or have a big sugar crash from having like a proper meal, this is a great option to get satiated and help you get the job done. Okay, so I won't be properly fueled for my workout until I have a PR blast back. This is an all new patented innovative energy product, not just a pre-workout, just energy whenever you need it.
Wait. I need to look this up.
In a very small form factor. All you have to do is just fold it in half, bite it, and it'll give you 3 ml of 200 plus milligrams of caffeine.
Okay, I don't need to look it up. I was gonna look it up because I was wondering if there's caffeine inside or some kind of toxin, stimulant, neurotoxin. Now he answered it, okay. So he's poisoning his audience. Oh, I just love it. I love the bodybuilding community. It's just absolutely the biggest on this earth.
Plus other ingredients. All you gotta do is scan the code or just go to purelifestyle.com to learn more about it. And it is releasing very soon. The best part about it is you don't have to add any water to the mixture. You just literally squirt it into your mouth and it gets the job done. That's it. Go to win. All right, so I still have my sights set on a pro classic bodybuilding show for...
So you ingest toxins to do something which you hate doing, which is working out, but because the toxins help you to adrenalize, stimulate your body, it's seen as good for you. Brilliant logic.
Next year, that means I got 8+ months to work on growing these legs, especially my quads.
Man, why do you want to grow even more? You already look immobile, basically by definition disabled. Think about this guy in a natural survival situation, fighting somebody. The guy can basically not even move. Zero agility, mobility, and legs also. Why would you want to grow your legs? If your legs become big, you can hardly move. This is one of the worst channels on YouTube. What also looks extremely abnormal is how thin his wrists are and how thick the rest of the arm is. It just gets thicker and thicker. It's very abnormal, naturally speaking. There's no such physique in nature. No human looks like this. It shouldn't necessarily be the same width where your wrist is and where your biceps is, but there should also not be really that much of a difference. This is an insane difference. By the way, this guy got some 14-year-old kid also into using steroids recently. He made a video with him, I had reviewed it, and then later on he hopped on the steroids. Okay, maybe he didn't directly influence him, but I think that he did. They worked out together and then he hopped on the drugs.
Upright, you know, and that's the reason why is that I have really poor shoulder mobility.
And by the way, that's just one kid that he influenced. There's probably tons of others out there who watch his videos who will do the same. Such a horrible influence on people.
So I can't go here without doing that and hunching over. So you have great mobility, but even still, just like an inch wider can make a good difference.
Yeah, and just a heavy breathing. Again, I'm doing this almost every day. I hate it.
So, feeling a little indigestion after that 7-Eleven breakfast. I guess this to be expected. Although I didn't give it much time to digest after I ate, as I went straight into the gym after like 10 minutes from having my meal. But not so bad to where I can't actually work out. As I am recovering from a lunge-related injury, I'm gonna just use my...
Yeah, they always injure themselves and they don't even question it. They just believe that it's normal. Also, why does the video have subtitles if it's in English anyway? It's this weird thing that people do today. They put subtitles everywhere where you don't need them.
Ooh, this thing feels fake. This feels like something I played with as a kid. This feels... That came out so wrong. This, this feels like Play-Doh. Ah, the texture is horrendous.
Yeah, as I said, they probably stuff it full of waste products. Maybe there's a little bit of meat in there. Maybe there isn't even any. Maybe it's full of beyond meat ingredients. Canola oil and who knows what.
Doesn't taste as bad as it feels. It's missing everything, like a bun, mustard, delicious toppings. The shake, I know it's not gonna let me down as I have these all the time. Ah, yeah, that set me right. So I'd rate this meal out of 10, a 4. The burrito is super mid. The hot dog's probably the worst I ever had. The only thing bringing it up from a 1 is the shake. But overall, the meal I would give a 4. It is gonna be a trip to Indigestion City, as it is a hot dog and burrito after all, but that's why I'm having it post-workout, not pre. I'll deal with the toilet later. All right, here we have dinner. So we have the lunch to go tuna, salad, 2 chicken skewers with honey drizzle, and a beef and bean burrito. So I'm gonna start with the tuna. Got some mayonnaise, you got some straight up tuna here.
Mayonnaise nowadays is made out of seed oils. Don't consume that. Oh, this guy is already done. He even consumes margarine, so it's over for him. But just don't do it to yourself.
All right, let's do a little taste test. So it does come with sweet relish and with mayonnaise, and also some crackers. But to keep the fat and the carbs under control best we can from 7-Eleven, we're not going to use the crackers, relish, or the mayo. We're just going to eat it raw. Next up, we have
Raw. I know what he means, but it would be cool if it was raw. At least you can get some meat there, chicken.
The honey drizzle skewered chicken.
But do they even use real honey? It's some high fructose corn syrup, most likely, labeled as honey.
Yeah. That is definitely not diet friendly. It is way too sweet, too spicy. Doesn't look breaded, but I believe there's a little bit of breading on it. And then lastly, the beef and bean burrito. Overall rating, just based on taste, I would say it's a 3, because none of these items go together. But it's what I decided to piece together to try and get as close to 90 to 100 grams of protein per meal for the 3 meals of the day, best I can. That brings
Yeah, just consuming waste products for the slaves, absolute slave food, and just counting the calories, which are based on nothing, because the whole measurement is a joke. Not that he would ever understand it. Alright, Larry Wheels is one of the worst people online. He's influencing the youth right now, the men, to go to the gym, to lift metal up and down, even though they all hate it, to reduce their lifespan, to stress themselves, to stunt their growth, to be unhealthy overall. That's what his channel is about. And indirectly, he is also influencing people to use drugs. I know that he obviously doesn't say that out loud, but when you see his physique and you're into bodybuilding and you cannot get any bigger, then the conclusion in the end for these young men will be, I gotta use steroids. And this is the worst thing that you could possibly do, because that will actually really, in the end, ruin your life. There's so many side effects. Just go on Reddit or some kind of forum and just read about what people experienced when they used them, and especially when they got off them, because once you get off, then the nightmare will really begin. You would think that it's when you're using them, seeing as you're using toxic drugs, but really the recovery, if you can even recover, if you haven't been using them long enough, that's really the worst part. This is what his channel is all about. Eating junk food, counting calories, which is impossible to do. He has no idea what he's talking about. And using drugs to look bigger and bigger. Why? Because you want attention, validation from people, because you're insecure. That's it. What kind of a life is this? This is not even a life. Can you call it a life? Is this living as a human being? Oh my god. Thanks for watching.